had made it into the Digital Currency Innovation Lab. So we're actually really excited to have them.
We are really excited to be a part of that. So yeah, a little bit about me. I've been an entrepreneur on Maui since 2013. My company, Cloud Nalu, has been really focused on helping small businesses grow by integrating with technology pretty broadly, but I've been a tech integration specialist with the Department of Education here as well, working with the schools. And as a developer, I've worked with Ethereum and Solidity, but most recently, or at least in the last year, have moved to focus solely on Bitcoin development and the Lightning Network, which we'll talk a little bit about. And yeah, Cloud Nalu is a software development and integration company. So we are also a Bitcoin brokerage and Bitcoin related services provider. Again, we're really focused on providing resources and quality help onboarding Hawaii-based residents and businesses to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So we see ourselves as really the boots on the ground here, and we are hiring. So if helping people set up these wallets appeals to you, or you have always been that Bitcoin or crypto friend with the rest of your friends and family, please reach out. Especially if you understand why Bitcoin is so important for Hawaii. We have our job postings on our website. We also do a weekly webinar on Tuesdays if you'd like to learn more. And we have webinars with the HTDC coming up as well, I'm sure you'll hear about. And yeah, if you just want to sign up and buy Bitcoin for some of the lowest fees in the game, and check out our services for multi-sig wallet setup, which we'll talk more about, you can reach out to us on our website, cloudnalu.com. So I'll go get going here.
Sounds great. Thank you.
So what is a cryptocurrency wallet? We'll be talking about today, best practices setting up a cryptocurrency wallet, and specifically a Bitcoin wallet, and how to use Bitcoin. We're here to talk. This is for educational purposes. This is not financial advice. So we've had digital currency for quite some time, but cryptocurrency is actually a more recent evolution of money.
Hey, Leon, sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your slides or is that going to be later?
Here we are. There you are. Sorry, I didn't actually click the share screen. How's that?
Yes, looks great. Thank you.
What is a cryptocurrency wallet, best practices, and how to use Bitcoin? Not financial advice. And again, we've had digital currency for quite some time, but cryptocurrency is a more recent evolution of money. When we talk about cryptocurrency, we're really referring to a type of digital currency in which transactions are secured and verified and records maintained by cryptography, by a method of hashing, and recorded on a decentralized blockchain rather than a centralized authority. So most notably, Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency we'll be talking about today mostly. So again, we've had these digital dollars for a while, and they're controlled by a centralized third party though. So our credit cards and bank account balances are really, if you think about it, just balances on a digital ledger controlled by our banking institutions. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, was created to be a scarce asset for the digital world. And it's the first digitally scarce asset that isn't controlled by a centralized party. It's really digital property on an open source monetary network. So it therefore can't be controlled, banned, censored, or hacked. And it provides a lot of value to many people of the world who especially don't have access to a bank account or traditional banking financial resources. So they use a Bitcoin wallet, which we're here to talk about today. So in order to really understand how Bitcoin works, I've tried to make this as simple as I can over the years. But the best way to think about it is really how it was envisioned, which is a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. So We have this peer-to-peer vision of electronic cash, which is really a system of nodes that talk to each other and miners that create and validate the supply of Bitcoin through a process called mining. And in terms of like the most important property of money we have is that it should be scarce. And Bitcoin has a predictable supply schedule with a cap of 21 million Bitcoin. So there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin produced or mined. And we secure that with the blockchain. And in the Bitcoin protocol, hash functions are a part of the block hashing algorithm, which is used to write transactions and make sure those transactions get validated into the blockchain through, again, that process called mining. And whenever a new block is added, it points back to the history of blocks before it. So you can't just go back, or it would be like pretty darn extremely impossible to go back and rewrite the ledger by replacing all the blocks before it. So it's really what you could call a ledger where there's only the next block that you can change, or an append only ledger. And this is what makes it so secure against censorship and invalid transactions. So we have this blockchain, and we have this, it's that immutable ledger that we have of all the Bitcoin that has ever been in existence. And let's say you have some Bitcoin on that blockchain. So how do you access it? How do you access that Bitcoin? How do you spend it? Well, first of all, one of the really awesome things about Bitcoin is that it's a completely transparent ledger, and anybody and everyone in the world can read it at all times. The ledger has never failed in Bitcoin's 11 years of existence. And in fact, you can easily look up the entire history of each little piece of Bitcoin on the blockchain and see how it was spent, how much was spent, and to whom it was spent to. You can verify how much Bitcoin is in existence, and you can verify that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin ever mined or produced. You can verify how much Bitcoin is mined every day, every hour, how much is left of that 21 million fixed supply. And the ability to verify this entire Bitcoin blockchain for only a small amount of data usage, about 350 gigabytes, is special to Bitcoin because it's not a property of other altcoins or other cryptocurrencies. For example, Ethereum's blockchain is too big to actually download for any one person, and there's no supply cap. Same with Dogecoin. So you've probably heard of those. We do talk about those sometimes in our Bitcoin Tuesdays. If you'd like to learn more, go ahead and reach out. But if so we have this super stable, secure blockchain and on Bitcoin. And without the ability to verify that blockchain yourself, you have to trust the creators of these other cryptocurrencies or altcoins, or the creators of these other blockchains. And you're susceptible to their rules because you have to use their node, which we'll get into more. But again, back to Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin is on a blockchain and secured by a hash with a public and a private key. So each piece of Bitcoin that you have in a wallet like this has both the keys associated with it. So we have our public key and our private key. And again, each of these pieces of Bitcoin, which can be broken down into tiny little bits called Satoshis, and anybody and everybody can own just a fraction of Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. But you have this public and the private key. So how do you control your Bitcoin? How do you use these keys? Well, we will use a cryptocurrency wallet, and specifically a Bitcoin wallet that lets you access your Bitcoin on the blockchain. So hopefully my little diagram here is starting to make a little sense. And a wallet, or a service that holds your keys, is used to secure and manage and create your transactions of your Bitcoin. You can think of your public key as your home address for your Bitcoin. It's used to secure and manage your transactions of Bitcoin. And you can use it to unlock your Bitcoin so that you're able to spend it with a private key, which is something that you should not share with anybody. So your public key can be shared with people, kind of like your PO box address or your home address for any mail coming in. And your private key is something that you use to unlock and spend that Bitcoin. So you never want to share your private key. All right, so let's take a breather here. So I know this is getting complex, but it's really the simple system of cryptography in this protocol called proof of work that we can make sure that the rules of Bitcoin are easily enforced. And that's what gives Bitcoin its scarcity. And so its scarcity is really important in Bitcoin. It's fundamental to the success of its form as electronic cash. And the enforcement of these rules is what protects the 21 million Bitcoin ever to be mined or produced. And out of all the different forms of money over time, we can see that the most important property, again, of money is that it's scarce and therefore secure. So we can talk about how to keep your Bitcoin secure and what it takes to be your own bank, to process your own Bitcoin spending transactions, and to save your own Bitcoin and keep it in your own custody, where you don't need another third party to hold your Bitcoin for you. You may have heard of this, not your keys, not your coins. You do have options in Bitcoin. When we first started having a sort of Bitcoin services providing industry, Bitcoin was often held on exchanges mostly, and those exchanges were, of course, susceptible to hack. So it's important that you understand that if you don't hold your private keys to your Bitcoin yourself, you don't actually control that Bitcoin. So not your keys, not your coins. And you can have, again, an exchange or brokerage service provider hold your keys for you, but it's important to understand the trade-offs. So number one, if somebody else holds your private keys to your Bitcoin, you're trusting them to not lose your Bitcoin, not get hacked, and always let you access that Bitcoin so that when you want to. And although Bitcoin cannot be broken or hacked itself, again, these cryptocurrency exchanges are susceptible to hack. And I'm sure we've all heard about those stories of people suffering billions of dollars in Bitcoin being stolen from these exchanges. So it's really important and awesome that you can hold your own keys, your own custody to Bitcoin. And we're going to talk more about that today. So to be your own bank, you control the own custody of your Bitcoin. And here's the setup. This is one of the services that we offer at Cloud Nalu, and we can make it easy for you to get fully onboarded to Bitcoin. So first, you need a Bitcoin node, and you can use our node or share a node with a group of people you trust. It's better to have a node that's always on, but it doesn't have to be a huge data incurring thing on Amazon Web Services or some big servers. In fact, it's really one of the great things about Bitcoin that you can run your own node using just one of those little Raspberry Pi computers and a little external hard drive. So less than 200 or less than $100, you can get set up with a node running Bitcoin. And this is partly the reason why Bitcoin has become so distributed throughout the world, and especially in popular places like Africa and South America and Asia, where people don't have access to, again, traditional banking services. So secondly, after that node, you need to be running Bitcoin Core, which is open source software. It's completely backwards compatible, and it's just quite easy to install, actually. One of the really cool things is even if the internet goes down, you can actually download the Bitcoin Core software from Blockstream satellite. So super distributed and very well-verified code. Again, it hasn't been hacked or anything like that. Partly due to its simplicity and mostly due to its distribution. Third, you need a Bitcoin wallet, which again stores your private keys and allows you to unlock your Bitcoin. And these wallets come in several forms, which can look like USB drives, or be on your computer, or be a wallet app on your phone, or a tablet, or at your business location on your point of sale solution. So again, to review, nodes store and verify each block on the blockchain, and they talk to each other on the network. And they allow users to verify balances and broadcast transactions. So when you have that wallet, you can use your node to verify balances and broadcast transactions. And again, you can use somebody else's node. You just have to be able to trust them. So we have different kinds of Bitcoin wallets. And here's a little diagram of kind of all the different kinds. Starting at the bottom left, we'll start with the custodial hot wallet. So this is kind of the least secure way to hold your Bitcoin. And it's a way to hold your Bitcoin where your private keys are potentially exposed online, because that Bitcoin wallet is online. So the custodial model of the hot wallet means that somebody else is providing custody of your private keys and therefore controlling your Bitcoin. So that custodian has control of the wallet and requires the user to really ask permission before initiating transactions. And custodial hot wallets are convenient and super easy to use, which is why they were popular, especially in the beginning of Bitcoin. We also have this version on the right, bottom right, the non-custodial hot wallet. And that's where the user has control of their private keys, but they're still using a hot wallet. So their private keys could potentially be exposed online. I haven't actually ever heard of anybody having their mobile non-custodial hot wallet being hacked, but it's theoretically possible. And you're really directly responsible for the security of that hot wallet. So at the top left, we have the custodial cold storage, and that's where a custodian like Cloud Nalu, or like any of the other or most of the other exchanges or service providers within the Digital Currency Innovation Lab, they have this model where the custodian keeps the user's Bitcoin in cold storage, and it manages that Bitcoin on behalf of their users. So they still control the private keys to that Bitcoin, and you still have to request permission from them before initiating transactions. And then we finally have the non-custodial cold wallet. So this is really the best version in terms of security, and the most challenging to set up. But again, this is where Cloud Nalu can come in and help you set these non-custodial cold wallets up. So we have the user manages the funds and create transactions from their own cold storage. And cold wallets never have their private keys exposed online. And you just don't ever have those private keys on even a computer or anything that is connected online. So you keep those private keys offline in a way that I'll talk a little bit more about. And this lets you be protected against digital threats, but not necessarily physical threats. And we can talk more about that. So here's an example of a non-custodial cold storage wallet. So this is where you own your own private keys. And in this example, you're using Ledger's node to access your Bitcoin on the network. We can also set you up so that you use your own node or use our node. And yeah, it's pretty easy to set up. They're pretty small. You can throw it away in a safety deposit box quite easily. We do sell these types of wallets on our website, and it's cool to get it through somebody where you know that you can trust that that mailing address of yours that you're using to purchase this custodial cold storage wallet isn't exposed to other third-party marketers online. So that's another privacy important thing. That's something to take into consideration when you're purchasing a cold storage wallet. And then we also have mobile non-custodial wallets, and some good examples are Blue Wallet, Moon, and Breeze. You can download these on both the Apple and the iOS store and Android. And they're great because they make using Bitcoin quite easy. And then you also generally get to keep your own private keys to that Bitcoin. On a note here, Breeze actually doesn't let you actually keep your private keys to that Bitcoin, but they also offer some awesome other features of their app, which we'll go over. You finally have these Bitcoin Lightning Network wallets. So the Lightning Network allows you to send and transact with Bitcoin instantaneously and for zero cost. So you're not using that main Bitcoin ledger, which uses a ton of energy and is like super, that rock, that super hard verifiable, huge Bitcoin ledger. So you don't have to interact with that ledger. You can interact with the Lightning Network using a Lightning Network enabled node and a Lightning Network enabled Bitcoin wallet. And these wallets on the Lightning Network, so you are allowed to create these payment channels between people, and they look like this. So a payment channel on the Lightning Network, this second layer to Bitcoin's mainnet, the Bitcoin blockchain down here, and the Lightning Network above, the second layer of Bitcoin. And this is kind of how I see Bitcoin developing in the future. Kind of like here at the bottom, we have like Fedwire, the base of our financial system. And then above it, we have like the Visa network and the ACH network and all those like banking networks above it that allow us to seemingly transact more instantaneously, at least. But on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, it's still truly peer-to-peer Bitcoin transactions. And again, you use a Bitcoin Lightning node to access this network and set up of payment channels, which again, Cloud Nalu can help you out with, but it's pretty easy to do yourself, especially if you use some of those wallets that I mentioned earlier. Some of these are actually, all of these are Bitcoin Lightning enabled wallets. All right, so we talked about the Lightning Network. Finally, we have multi-signature wallets. So we talked about those, the non-custodial version of cold storage, and there's an even better version of that, which is these multi-signature non-custodial cold storage versions of wallets, where you need 2 out of 3 keys to sign a transaction. So instead of just having 1 private key, you have 3 keys to unlock that Bitcoin on that wallet. And you only need 2 keys to actually send the Bitcoin on the transaction. You can actually also have 3 out of 5, for example, or 5 out of 9. You can make it whatever you want. And this is a really great way to, again, be your own bank, but distribute the ownership of that Bitcoin on the blockchain by distributing the private keys. So this is a really good way to pass Bitcoin on to the next generation, pass wealth on to the next generation, or share Bitcoin amongst your family in a trust, or I potentially down the road, I see like any organization with a balance sheet holding a multi-signature wallet, because it allows them to, again, store that Bitcoin in a way that no one person can access and spend that Bitcoin. You need the help of at least another person, or in the case of like a 3 out of 5, you need the help of 2 other people. So multi-signature wallets are awesome. They're kind of a newer development in Bitcoin in the last, I'd say, maybe 3 years since SegWit. And we can help you set those up. Today, we're just going to be talking about a pretty simple Bitcoin wallet. So we have this app, let's say on our phone, and what you're going to do is you're going to download the app, and usually if it's a non-custodial wallet, you're going to have to create and store or write down a seed phrase. And you'd never want to share this seed phrase with anybody. So you want to make sure it's hidden and secure, and it's not online, it's not on Google Drive, it shouldn't be photographed. You want to really keep that seed phrase hidden from anybody else. Because with that seed phrase, that person has access to your Bitcoin, and they can easily send your Bitcoin or spend your Bitcoin to another address. You also want to make sure you back up your wallet, and that's quite easy to do. That way you can have that wallet as a backup and load it on another computer or wallet software or mobile phone someday super easily. Again, you never want to share your PIN or your private keys or your seed phrase with anyone. And Cloud Nalu or any other cryptocurrency services provider will never ask you for your seed phrase. So if you do hear somebody asking you for your seed phrase or pretending that they're Cloud Nalu or another services provider, you should automatically know that that's a scam. So sometimes you see on like Twitter and stuff like that, people asking for seed phrases or private keys, and you'd never want to give that seed phrase or private key up to your Bitcoin. It gets its own separate slide because it's really important. Again, it's really important to write your seed phrase down. Don't take a photo of it. Don't save it online. Don't even give it to your lawyer. Write it down ideally on durable waterproof paper, or even better, a steel word plate so that it's fireproof. And then put it in a safe or some hidden location. I've heard of people burying it under their houses before. But honestly, with multi-sig wallets, if you get down that road, multi-sig wallets are really the way to go before you start burying your private keys anywhere. So again, never share your seed phrase, and don't lose it. Don't like somehow leave it somewhere and forget about it or forget where it is. Finally, what we're going to talk about is withdrawing to a Bitcoin wallet. So most people buy their Bitcoin on an exchange or a Bitcoin brokerage services provider, or any of those cryptocurrency exchanges. And you can take your Bitcoin off of that exchange in your own custody again. And the way you do that is by creating a withdrawal. So in order to create this withdrawal, you first need to create a receiving address on your Bitcoin wallet. You can copy that receiving address, and that address looks like a string of characters and numbers. And then back on the exchange platform, on the website or on the mobile app, you would create a withdrawal order, and you would paste in that public receiving address to send your Bitcoin from the exchange or the website to your wallet, to that public receiving address. And then make sure you still have that backup of your private key, and never lose that seed phrase to that public address that you're sending the Bitcoin to. So we're going to set up a wallet here. I have a little demo I can do. If I just get back to Zoom and change my my camera. Oop, I forgot to turn my GoPro on. And I'm going to change cameras and show you how to set up, or how easy it is to set up a Bitcoin wallet. All right. How's that? All right. You see my keyboard? I'm going to move this out of the way. Open my phone. There's wallet one. All right. So we have, this is Blue Wallet. So one of those I recommended. Hopefully y'all can see this. Okay. I have a couple transactions here, and you can see that it's denominated in sats, those little bits of Bitcoin called Satoshis. And I can change that just by clicking it. So now it's denominated in US dollars. Now it's denominated in Bitcoin. I'll keep it as sat or as US dollars for now to make this easy for everybody. And this is already set up. I'm gonna set up a new Bitcoin wallet. And we have two options. We can set up a Bitcoin wallet on the mainnet, so using that mainnet, and then we also can set up a Lightning wallet on that second layer of Bitcoin for instant transactions. So on the mainnet, we would use a seed phrase, right? You would be asked to create and write down a seed phrase. So I'm going to show you that. There's a couple different options to do a HD SegWit or a regular SegWit wallet. I'm just going to use the first one. And here's that seed phrase to that wallet. I can share this with you guys because I'm not going to actually use this wallet ever. I'm just going to delete it after this. But that's what it looks like. So you have a string of 12 words, sometimes 24 words, and you have to write this down on a piece of paper. That piece of paper can look like this. This is just a nice, handy, waterproof piece of paper that I have for writing down seed phrases. And again, you want to store this somewhere that's super private and safe. So I'm going to pretend I wrote that down, and now I have my Bitcoin wallet. So super easy. Now I can be my own bank. This Bitcoin wallet is connected to Blue Wallet's node. But I could also easily set it up so that it's connected to my own node or Cloud Nalu's node or somebody's node that you trust. Next, I'm going to set up a Bitcoin Lightning wallet, which again is used for like instantaneous zero cost transactions. And I can use my own Lightning node. I'm not going to, I'm just going to use Bitcoin's or Blue Wallet's node. And here's my wallet, and I have the backup of my wallet, and you can see I have 0 sats right now. But I could easily send some sats to it and then be able to spend those sats. You should note that if you click one of these buy Bitcoin buttons, you are not actually able to buy Bitcoin. So it's pretty rare that you can buy Bitcoin through one of these buttons in the United States. We have you know, these regulations which require Bitcoin services providers to have a license in each state. And if you're in Hawaii, you won't actually be able to buy Bitcoin using one of these buttons. So don't bother. Also, you'd end up, even if you could, you'd be paying like often a 4 to 6% premium on your Bitcoin purchase there. So it's a good idea to just avoid that altogether and go through a secure Bitcoin services provider like Cloud Nalu. So I'm going to go back to the little bit of Bitcoin that I do have on my Lightning wallet here. And it's just loading right now. So again, I can denominate that in sats if I want. So I can say, hey, about 3,000 sats is $1 basically. So I have $2.16 worth of Bitcoin on the Lightning Network on this Lightning wallet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can send that Bitcoin to another wallet. So let's say I'm a coffee shop or place where I want to accept Bitcoin. I'm going to open up my own Bitcoin wallet. And this is Breeze. So this is another wallet I recommended. This one's really cool because it has this point of sale solution for it. A point of sale solution is something where you can create an invoice easily for your business. And this is one of the other services that Cloud Nalu offers. So I'm going to create an invoice. Let's say I sold somebody an awesome cup of coffee for $1. Maybe it's just a refill, I guess, on a cup of coffee here. I know they can charge $7 for that, but we're just going to pretend it's $1. So then I get this Lightning invoice. So this is like a QR code, and I can copy this or I can scan it with my wallet over here. So For the customer of the coffee shop, I'm going to see that invoice and I'm going to take my wallet and I'm going to click send because I want to send Bitcoin. And I'm going to click scan and then I'm going to scan the QR code and I'm going to put my phone down, and you can see that the invoice has not been paid yet. And I can see that it's an invoice for 3,170 sats, or about $1. And I can just click pay, and instantaneously and for zero cost, the merchant has Bitcoin now. And this is a prompt for backing up my wallet. I'm going to do that later, but that's definitely something you should look into when setting up a Bitcoin wallet. So now I've received that Bitcoin. I can check my balances, and you can see that as the merchant with my point of sale solution, I have sats, more sats than I just sold, but I have Bitcoin, new Bitcoin on my wallet. And that's from this transaction from an unknown person just a moment ago. And I can, if I want, I can click that and I can verify the hash of this transaction on the super immutable Bitcoin blockchain. And that's great. So I just did a peer-to-peer transaction without a third party or a third-party services provider or a bank involved at all. And that's one of the really cool things about Bitcoin. If you'd like help setting up a wallet, it's pretty easy to set up one of these mobile custodial wallets like Blue Wallet or Breeze. But if you'd like help setting up or have questions about cold storage wallets, we can do that for you. And especially if you want help setting up a multi-sig wallet, we can do that for you as well. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to switch back to my regular camera. And I hope that was helpful.
Hey, Liam, thank you so much. It was, very enlightening for me because I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency wallets. But let's get to the Q&A. A couple of questions we have here in the Q&A function. Let's see. First one from Carol. She's asking, can we use a conventional flash drive like SanDisk to back up the wallet, or do we need a special one like a Ledger?
Yeah, you can definitely use any USB drive to create a Bitcoin wallet. It's just using like something like Ledger makes it a whole lot easier for you because it automatically runs Bitcoin Core software, and it allows you to easily connect to Ledger's node or another node much more easily. Well, it's possible to do it with a USB hard drive. I did it like way back in the day, but I don't think I'd do it again or recommend doing that to anybody today. There's just better options out there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if Carol has more questions, she can reach out to you directly as well. Right. Yeah. Cool. Eli is asking, aloha, you probably covered this, but he's, I'm curious to know if you recommend any hot wallets, if for nothing more than temporary storage or as a means to move coins between exchanges.
Yeah. So, Moon Wallet is probably my latest favorite custodial hot wallet. It's that mobile wallet. It's cool because it's you can send Bitcoin either over the mainnet or over the Lightning Network super easily, and you don't have to think about switching to the Lightning Network ever. You just have one wallet that's denominated in Bitcoin for your Bitcoin on both the mainnet and the Lightning Network. So Moon Wallet, MUUN, is really good for that. In terms of storing wallets, other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin, I wouldn't personally do that, but if I did, I'd probably use the BRD wallet from Blockset. They've got a great team over there, and I've found them to be trustworthy with managing their nodes and the Bitcoin blockchain and their users. So, yep, hope that helps.
Cool, thank you. John is asking, what happens if physical wallets are destroyed?
Yeah, great question. So again, your Bitcoin doesn't actually live on your wallet. Your Bitcoin lives on the Bitcoin blockchain. So as long as you don't lose your private key or that seed phrase to your Bitcoin on the blockchain, then you can destroy your phone, you can destroy your wallet, and you can still recover the Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain. Which is one of the really great things about Bitcoin. I mean, everybody screws up and loses their phone or cracks their phone or destroys their phone every once in a while. And the cool thing about Bitcoin is that if you do that, as long as you have your seed phrase as a backup, you can restore your access to your Bitcoin again. Because again, your Bitcoin lives on the Bitcoin blockchain. It does not live on your device or your cold storage wallet or your mobile phone wallet.
Okay, cool. I hope that answered your question, John. Another question coming in. This person saying, I swing trade and buy long-term crypto in the same exchange. He's using Kraken. Is it difficult to assign only the long-term portion to a cold storage to keep that secure while keeping the funds for swinging on the exchange?
Yeah, that's a great way to use Bitcoin for a lot of people that are interested in trading, is that you have the bulk of your Bitcoin in what you call like your cold storage or your savings account wallet. And you can easily send your Bitcoin to that savings account wallet. A thing to keep in mind when you're doing that is that you don't want to use that one public address over and over again. Ideally, for privacy reasons, you don't really want anybody to know that you have a ton of Bitcoin in one address, right? So you want to split that up for privacy reasons. And you can do that by creating a cold storage wallet and creating what's called an XPub, extended public key. And you can, every time you send Bitcoin from Kraken, you can have a new Bitcoin address be created on your cold storage wallet. And therefore, you just have a bunch of different Bitcoin public addresses and the associated Bitcoin private keys for your Bitcoin on that cold storage wallet. But you have one amount of Bitcoin accessible on that cold storage wallet. So yeah, a cold storage wallet, especially if you're trading and stuff, I mean, they often cost less than $200. More likely, like those ledgers are like, I think $59. A cold card is like somewhere between $100 and $150, and that's a really nice one. So yeah, super easy to store your Bitcoin securely. Super important to store it off of an exchange if you're holding a significant amount. Because again, that exchange could be susceptible to hacking, or could one day decide that, hey, we're not going to give this Bitcoin to you, theoretically. So it's in the Bitcoin ethos to really control your own keys to your Bitcoin and control your own custody of Bitcoin by using a cold storage wallet.
Awesome, thank you. Vince is asking, can my wallet hold different types of cryptocurrencies, or do I have to purchase a dedicated wallet per cryptocurrency type?
That is a great question. So the short answer is a cryptocurrency wallet could hold various cryptocurrencies or hold the keys to those various cryptocurrencies within that wallet. The problem is when you're doing that, you are trusting that the wallet provider is going to allow you to use their node and keep a ledger of your cryptocurrencies, of your different cryptocurrencies on that wallet for you. So when that's one of the great things about Bitcoin is, again, you can store your own keys and have your own node quite easily and trust yourself, trust no one else. But with other cryptocurrencies, that's not so much possible. You have to trust another person's node or another company's node. And yeah, that's one of the big reasons why Cloud Nalu is a Bitcoin only services provider is we just really believe that it's important to let people store their wealth, something of such importance in Bitcoin, where they can use our node or have access to their own node so easily, rather than store other cryptocurrencies where they aren't able to have access to their own node so easily, because those nodes are so expensive to run. I mean, we're talking like terabytes of data. Like, I think the Ethereum blockchain is a crazy amount of terabytes of data. No, like one person could ever run it on their own. Where again, the Bitcoin blockchain is only 350 gigabytes of data. So anybody can run that on their own and verify their own transactions and create their own wallet. So yes, you can store other cryptocurrencies on a wallet, but really all you're doing is using another person's ledger of how much of those cryptocurrencies you have on their node and their wallet. So that's how that often works. Hopefully that was clear.
Okay, it's a lot to take in. I think Heather is asking a question that might be similar to the one before slightly. She's asking, can you stake your crypto with crypto.com while also storing your crypto in a cold wallet?
So no, you can create an extended public key so that you can see your cryptocurrencies on your cold storage wallet on crypto.com, specifically Bitcoin. I don't really think you can't do that with other cryptocurrencies. You can only do that in Bitcoin, where you can store your Bitcoin on a cold storage wallet and then watch it by creating a watch only wallet, which we didn't talk about, but that's something we can set up. That's a little bit more technical, but you can create a watch only wallet that watches your cold storage wallet for you, so that you can kind of manage and monitor your wallet on a cryptocurrency exchange or Bitcoin services provider, like Cloud Nalu. I know you can do that on like river.com. I don't think you're actually allowed to use crypto.com if you're based in Hawaii. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Dave is asking, can you recommend a multi-sig wallet?
Yeah, so a great, easy multi-sig wallet solution would be Spectre. And that's open source software. You can easily download it online and run it on your computer. You can hook up your own node easily, and then you can easily make a multi-sig wallet using the Spectre software. You can also create a multi-sig wallet using Blue Wallet. So that mobile phone wallet, you can even create a multi-sig wallet with your mobile phone using Blue Wallet. And they call it a Vault wallet in their app, but that's their version of multi-sig. It's pretty awesome. It's important to, again, understand you're still using Blue Wallet's node, but you are effectively controlling the private keys, all three of those private keys, to your Bitcoin when you're using Blue Wallet multi-sig or their vault setup. So those are two good options.
Great. Brian, before we get to your question, I know Stan, you sent in two kind of comments, but I'm not understanding the question. If you want to rephrase it and put it up, we will get to it later. Okay, back to Brian's question. What happens if you have a backup wallet that is no longer in sync with the primary? For example, you spend some Bitcoin in your main wallet and then it crashed, so you need to restore from backup.
Yeah, great question. So the backup wallet just stores your private keys to your Bitcoin in a way that's encrypted, and you can easily still access. Again, that Bitcoin's on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's not like on the wallet. So if your backup wallet is old, that's fine. Really, it would just have whatever previous settings of the wallet that were attached to it. But it wouldn't like have old private keys or something. Your private keys are to your Bitcoin are always the same until you spend your Bitcoin to another wallet. That's when your private key to that Bitcoin changes.
Okay, I hope we answered your question, Brian. Feel free to leave another question if we did not. So I think back to Carol's, the first question that Carol gave us at the beginning of Q&A regarding flash drive. She's asking right now, how much memory is needed on the flash drive?
Well, it's good to have like a 32 gigabyte flash drive when you're creating signatures for Bitcoin. And that's all you really need. So it doesn't have to be super huge. Again, as long as you're not downloading the whole Bitcoin blockchain and running a node on that hardware drive, which I think would be impossible. I think I don't think you could easily do that. But you can do it on, again, a Raspberry Pi. So one of those little computers that with a little hard drive, like a terabyte hard drive for another $100, you can quite easily run a Bitcoin node and then easily create a cold storage wallet using a hard drive and Bitcoin Core off of that.
Great, thank you. So Stan, he sent in he rephrased his question, and let's see, he's asking, there are several approved entities for Hawaii folks to invest in crypto, which is true. So we have 15 companies, that are in the program. What are the pros and cons of each? It seems most of it deals with crypto. Each allows someone to trade or invest in.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can answer of that legally, but I would just try to work with a company that you feel like you can trust. It's important so a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges do what's called, they can sometimes misappropriate customer funds. So often banks, right, when you deposit into a bank, they really only have to keep 10% of that, right? And the rest they can loan out. Cryptocurrency exchanges can be kind of the same. Like when you deposit crypto into an exchange, they can do what they want with that crypto. So Cloud Nalu, we are a service provider where we give you a trust account where we can't touch that Bitcoin that you hold in that trust account. So it's really in cold storage, and we don't loan it out or use it for other purposes and that sort of thing. So those are the kind of differences to look for when you're trusting an exchange or a brokerage with the private keys to your Bitcoin.
How about, Liam, how about, I would say customer service, because that's, based in Hawaii is probably also easier for.
Yeah, huge. I get that a lot. We answer the phone and we answer emails, and we can meet people face to face and set up a meeting with your family if you'd like to talk about how that multi-sig wallets work and that sort of thing. Again, face to face. I think that's a huge, and we hear it all the time, that's really valuable for people because often other cryptocurrency exchanges don't have that level of customer service. They're really just focused on having you trade cryptocurrency as much as possible because they're based on transaction fees. Whereas Cloud Nalu we don't charge any transaction fees really. We just charge for the services we provide, such as those multi-sig wallet setups, any meetings, node procurements, those types of services. And people find that value in our service for sure when it comes to that type of customer service and that level of hand-holding that a lot of people need, which is fine because cryptocurrencies are complicated. Bitcoin's tough to understand, and a lot of people just need a few hours to really dig in deep and answer all the questions that they want to answer. They want answers to. And we can do that. I'm sure there are other exchanges with the DCIL that offer good customer service. I can't really speak to that, but I can tell you that a lot of people come to us because of our customer service.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liam. So we've come to the end of the session today. Thank you everyone for your questions. And again, I'm